I was born and raised in Canada to a Pakistani Muslim family. As I've grown, I've had a lot of experiences with Islamophobia and racism, especially in the educational system. The biggest incident of Islamophobia that I've gone through was in the 2nd grade. I always thought that my teacher didn't like me for some reason. Whenever I raised up my hand, she would ignore me. She wouldn't look at me when I spoke. She would smile at every other student but me. When one day I won the raffle prize, and every student was allowed to choose one gift from the windowsill if they won. And I had been eyeing a blue teddy bear that I had wanted for the longest time. And during recess, when it was my turn to go choose my gift, I remember looking up and my teacher was standing there with a book in her hand and a smile on her face. And she handed me the book and told me that that was the gift I was supposed to have. And it was a book, an animated book about Jesus Christ and his disciples. And I remember feeling really scared but also happy because it was the first time she had smiled at me. And especially as a child, all you want is to be accepted. So that started the largest incident of Islamophobia in my life. I was forced to stay in with her during recess and read books about Jesus Christ and his disciples, whereas every other student got to go and spend time outside. I was also forced to pray to Jesus Christ on every Wednesday morning, even though I told her I couldn't because I was Muslim. I continue to experience a lot of Islamophobia and racism in elementary and high school. I remember walking into a classroom and the kids at the back of the classroom would make loud bomb explosions sounds, and the teacher would just sit there and stare at me. She would not intervene. So for the longest time I grew up facing these incidents, and I never thought that perhaps it was their fault, perhaps they were in the wrong. I thought it had something to do with me, and of course that meant I had to change. And so I would try to lighten my skin with whitening creams. I would try to wear the cross around my neck so people would think I was Christian instead of Muslim. Ultimately, it led to a lot of identity issues and self-esteem issues, and it was only after high school that I was finally able to start accepting who I was. You know, you would think an educational system would include education, but sometimes I really do think that I had to learn it all on my own, especially with public schools here. I think that, you know, there are a lot of teachers out there that work really, really hard and are really great. However, in my experience, I have had less teachers like that and more teachers who were passive supervisors as children bullied each other. I think something that would really help is classes about religion taught by people who practice their religion. I think at one point in high school, I was taking a religion class, and every 3 weeks we would change religions, and for 3 weeks we learned about Islam. But the topic was really just about terrorism and violence in the religion. And the teacher, of course, wasn't Muslim, so I don't know how much knowledge they had about the topic, but I do remember feeling frustrated as students around me discussed my religion without any proper knowledge about it. However, religion can be taught in a way that is not all about converting and just about facts and history and background and context. I'm a firm believer in the fact that hate is taught. I don't think it's anything that someone is inherently born with. So I have hope for the future because things are so much more different than they were when I was growing up. For example, there's so much more media representation of Muslims and people of color in general. And social media is huge now, and in the past, when I was growing up, of course, it wasn't. But now it's so easy to become aware of certain things that are going on, whereas before, I have hope that with this level of awareness and education and just general acceptance, hate in Canada won't be as prevalent. I'm not really sure if it'll be in the future that I'll get to see, but I do hope that this is something that will happen eventually.